California. You have to be genuinely single digit IQ to believe anything like that. But, you know, I guess it's more fun to talk about that for this. The more fun to talk about like the wait, it didn't have their full addresses. No, of course not, dude. What are you talking about? Just no. And also, it wasn't even like immediate. This is it happened like weeks ago, and then they just like rehashed it because they don't want to do the 700 debate panel about Destiny's pedophilia. So all of us fucking orbiters have to like, you know, figure out something else to create controversy and drama around because it's wholly unproductive. That's it. A lot of people don't realize this. Like, they think they're actually engaging in political advocacy when they do this kind of stuff. They don't realize that all they're doing is like petty drama shit, serving the incredibly narcissistic desires of their favorite content creators who feel like, you know, if only people knew how bad Hassan was, then maybe they would come and watch me instead. That's it. The same orbiters that want the DNC to allow using the R word Lamau. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. The entire political discourse sphere is just now full slop. It's really fucking annoying. Anyway. Didn't those losers post your entire house listing after you purchased your home? They did. But, you know, that was a long time ago. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Meanwhile, while this shit's happening. Oh, yes, because politics used to be so highbrow in the past. No. You're not wrong. I mean, I always go back to William F. Buckley versus Gore Vidal. And these guys were seen as like the intellectual giants of their time, right? And they had these like very like high class debates on a bunch of different issues at the time, and the arguments would basically turn into Gore Vidal calling correctly William F. Buckley a crypto fascist, and then William F. Buckley would call Gore Vidal a homosexual, a flaming homosexual. So that's like, that unironically is the same exact type of discourse that takes place right now. I guess it has devolved in some ways, though. It has devolved in some ways. It's gotten, you know, lamer and more annoying. But, you know, there's less decorum. It is what it is. On some level, David's pursuit of the free press seems to be driven by a desire to align his news network with his own politics. How else to explain why the guy who just bought his way into Hollywood moguldom, NFL rights, and the streaming wars would want to endure the thankless chore of integrating a politically charged digital news business that, despite his relative success in the Substack economy, would account for a modest 8-figure revenue line in his $18 billion entertainment business? If the lifers at CNN threatened to burn the place down when Chris Licht moved his office to a different floor, imagine the looming hysteria that will transfix CBS News. Assumedly, for Ellison, employee migration is also a part of the point. David probably looks at CBS News as a bit of a blank canvas, as a declining business, a cost burden, and, as recent history has made abundantly clear, a potentially massive PR headache. Why is it a potentially massive PR headache? Because CBS News is like not as invested as being as openly pro-Israel as like the free press is, by the way. Okay? Incredible. But the fact that it is losing money also opens a lot of opportunities for reinvention. Why continue to operate a declining asset that also bleeds cash as status quo? What's so funny about this is like assuming that hitting the pro-Israel route is somehow going to is somehow magically going to make this business a more profitable business. Now, this is where I ask myself and you guys the same question. Is David that fucking stupid, or does he just not care and he wants to do unlimited propaganda for Israel? Or is it a bit of both? Because, like, does this man legitimately think that giving a fuck ton of money to Barry Weiss to take over the reins of CBS News when her output is unimaginably unimpressive? Okay? Like, I'm sorry. You got hype from every fucking psychotic tech billionaire on the planet, and you're barely making a dent in the discourse with this shit. Who the fuck thinks this is worth $200 million / even perhaps more consequentially, who the fuck thinks this kind of editorial run is somehow going to change the dynamic of CBS and turn it into a profitable business? That's it. Because if this person's YouTube channel is worth, and all of the media that they have put out is worth $200 million, then I'm worth $200 billion. Okay? It's that crazy. Am I worth 200 billion? No, I'm not. That would be fucking insane. Like, think about it. 200 M's is what Joe Rogan got. 200 M's is what Joe Rogan got for the Spotify deal. I think it was 200 M's, right? Like, do you think Joe Rogan and Barry Weiss have the same level of cultural, have the same level of cultural relevance? Okay? That is fucking insane. You have to be an insane person. Wait, Joe Rogan was 100 M's. So yeah. The Juicers kick deal alongside LeBron is worth Barry Weiss. Things that are worth as much as Barry Weiss is the Free Press, an institution that you've probably never heard of. Are we for fucking real? I mean, that's crazy. I feel like this kind of comparison shows the complete depravity and the insanity of a deal such as this one. Without getting philosophical, he's planning on owning the asset interminably, and his shareholders have already suffered through years of Sherry-inflicted cash incineration. Why not take a flyer on a format that's economically inconsequential and eroding regardless? And if this maneuver gives David Rose second thoughts about moving back from London to manage the division, he can entrust it to existing newsroom leader Tom Sabrowski. Therein lies the intrigue behind the Barry deal. Even as she's poised to scale down the business, reduce talent salaries, and make it a leaner, trimmer operation, David is also poised to bring on a politically divisive marquee talent who might infuse the brand with a bold new identity and, frankly, at least make the network interesting again. Yeah. In a sea of pro-Israel Hasbara, Barry Weiss, who is not even fucking getting the views, as a pro-Israel Hasbara operation, will finally make CBS more newsworthy and will make it more interesting. Ellison also likely knows there may be a surprising upside here. You may not be able to believe everything you watch on Fox News, but the network's personality-driven content has single-handedly overturned the hourglass on the industry. We're living through a media age, for better or for worse, that prizes authenticity above all. This is the exact opposite of authenticity. This is a person who straight up, shut up, you're a terrorist supporter. Ugh. The walls are closing in. Nobody fucks with Israel, okay? It must suck so much ass that your favorite content creators are increasingly becoming more and more belligerent online, whether they're being outed as pedophiles or whether they're being outed as trying to procure CSAM or whether they're, just slinging slurs and then getting banned over and over again and then deciding to fucking quit to take a mental health break, while all of your favorite content creators are seen as charlatans for throwing all of their weight, their limited amount of weight, behind an apartheid state that's getting unlimited funds from the United States of America to do fucking unlimited child murder in broad daylight, okay? All of that shit's happening. All that shit's unfolding. And you just come in here and you sling this shit in my direction. I do not support, okay, he apologized. I do not support the terrorist state of Israel, okay? You are seeing the same, buddy. Chill out. What about the Germany brothel? No one sees me the same. No. Unban this. You radicalize more people. Let's be real. Yeah, in the good direction. This is like when Twitch gave Logic, the biracial rapper, 7 figures back in 2020 for him to stream like 5 times. Yeah. I apologize. Turkey sucks. Take a joke. I started this. W. Wait, what do you mean take a joke? You just fucking came in here and called me a terrorist supporter. Yeah. Doesn't that gotta suck so much ass that you just like spent so many years being like, Hassan went to a legal brothel that's still in operation in a place where prostitution is legal in the year 2010, okay? And he openly admitted this when talking about sex work and whatnot. And I still cannot get other people to fucking hate him. I can't do it. All the while, every single person that has consistently fucking brought this up over and over again, okay, over and over again, have been outed as straight up procuring child sexual abuse material. That's got to suck so much ass. That's got to suck so much ass that you're constantly fighting, you're constantly banging on this drum, and then you're banging on this drum at the behest of your favorite content creator who has been outed as a charlatan. And also just a overall really bad guy. Or have they been outed as that? Is there real proof? Well, you can go find it online. I think you know where there is proof. Anyway. Netanyahu himself, by the way, if you want to understand like how the free press is so consequential, Netanyahu himself is now pushing the argument that Israel is being unfairly blamed for starvation death because of the boy who also had a piece of his skull blown out by an Israeli shelling. Okay? Benjamin Netanyahu's posting the free press. Mossab al-Debs, the 14-year-old boy, was featured in the same CNN story as another child suffering from malnourishment. The original caption didn't mention that last May he sustained a traumatic head injury. Like, how is this a defense of what Israel is doing? The Free Press wrote this article or made this video specifically to be like, hey, by the way, the people that you're posting about that are clearly starving, don't you know that Israel also shot them and exploded their fucking brains? That's not a defense of Israel, man. Bet you feel foolish now when you find out that the child that Israel is starving also has genetic disabilities, heritable disabilities. Oh shit, man. Israel's starving disabled children? That certainly makes me feel a lot better about Israel. Said no one. It's for nobody. It's for a person that already, it's for a person that already is pro-Israel and is just like desperately trying to grab onto anything they can when they're talking to their younger relatives. Okay, that's who it's for. These types of articles are simply for your grandparents and your aunts and your unks that constantly try to fucking turn around and say, no, you see, you don't understand. The person that Israel was starving. What is this? Hassan Piker offered a soda on stream recently, but he needed to ask, is Dr. Pepper off the BDS list? Imagine being a New York City council member and you're concerned about whether a soda has a fringe association to Israel. Once you see the truth, okay, everyone's on their own journey. Okay, everyone's on their own personal journey. Some people will never see it. Okay, they have put too much social capital, too much investment into not seeing the truth about what Israel is doing, what Zionism actually is. But once people start recognizing that truth, it's only a matter of time until they come to the same conclusion that you're at right now. So you have to try and be as charitable as possible. Okay, you have to be kind to people and walk them through this journey. It is very difficult for a lot of people to relearn shit that they took for granted their whole lives. Okay? If you want to engage in anti-fascist advocacy, whether it be against the fascist ideology of Zionism, or whether it be white supremacist ideology, whether it be like all this reactionary shit in the United States of America that plenty of people take for granted, you have to be as open-minded as possible, take on as much emotional labor as possible, and be as charitable as possible. Okay? Yeah, you just have to do that. I know it sounds fucking nuts when you're like, well, this guy is like engaging in, Halbra or genocide denial in perpetuity. Like, what the fuck do you mean I have to be nice to this person? Like, no, if you think that the person that you're talking to is open-minded, if you think that person that you're talking to is like charitable, which by the way, your expectation should be that everyone is charitable until they show you that they're not, until they prove to you that they're not. But you have to just remember that we need the numbers no matter what in order to keep pushing, in order to keep creating pressure. You need more numbers always. It's important to just have patience and try to engage people as charitably as you possibly can. Hasi, that's your biggest flaw. So many people fucking suck. Yeah, I think you're wrong. I mean, there are people who suck for sure. Having said that, however, if I shut off people from going on their own fucking journey, I would say I wouldn't have so many people in here that have changed their minds, have seen the truth. Okay? You're making a 2024 argument in 2025? No. Nope. Remember, there are a fuck ton of people out there who are still completely oblivious, utterly oblivious. And a part of that reason is because the media in general is so incredibly invested in creating. The media is so incredibly invested in creating this symmetry between Israel and the Palestinians. So from their perspective, if you're just only tuning in every now and then to this conversation, and you're like, somewhat paying attention to it in your day to day, it's understandable that even now there might be people who are utterly oblivious, who think like, oh, this is bad. It's bad, but I don't really care. Let God sort it out. You have to take those people and try to demonstrate empathy, demonstrate charitability, even if they are being hard-headed and refusing to learn. I have kept this attitude up regardless of how much I've been burned, and I've been burned quite a bit. Okay. And I think I still will continue to be as charitable as possible no matter what. People say it's my worst quality. I think it's my best quality. I understand why you look at all this death and destruction and you say, fuck it. How can people not see it? But you just have to keep pushing through it. Chart 1. Guests on Sunday talk shows by nationality. U.S., Israeli, Arab, other. My study on Sunday news talk shows last year, I found that CBS's Face the Nation was one of the only four networks to have Palestinian Arab guests and was the least pro-Israel in framing overall. Chart 2. Views of the guests on Sunday talk shows. Pro-Palestinian, neutral, pro-Israeli. By the way, look at how fucking... Fox doesn't have any pro-Palestinian positions. And look at how out of whack this is. Look at how out of whack this is, bro. It's just like people who are not paying attention to shit, or people who like kind of pay attention to stuff, they only see this. This is a reality design by a multi-billion-dollar sophisticated influence peddling operation. That's the reason why there are still people who are oblivious. So don't take for granted like what you know and assume that everybody else knows that. Do your very best to literally explain to people, because neutrality in this circumstance is also obviously pro-Israel. Neutrality in the face of tremendous injustice is siding with the oppressor. John Levine, people should reflect on why a company like the Free Press is worth $200 million and why nobody other than Qatar will ever pay a red cent for Zeteo/drop site. Yeah, I mean, he's just basically relitigating. He's basically relitigating the main point that this guy is making anyway. David Ellison is doing that specifically so that people get the message. If you're pro-Israel, you'll be rewarded handsomely. Jasper says, people should reflect on why billionaires shower cash on right-wing outlets that slobber over power and wealth, but starve left-wing outlets that challenge them. Yeah, one of life's greatest mysteries. Unearthed a document, the president of CBS saying he agrees with the Powell memo task force declaring our free enterprise system is in danger because of the media bias and promising that he's using his powers to correct the situation at CBS News with some results. All right, we did enough. There's a couple more notes that I wanted to get to on the CBS News shit before we move on to Florida, doing Florida things, removing vaccine mandates because they're fucking insane. Barry Weiss identifies untapped market void, raises funds. Untapped market void is being pro-Israel, by the way. Being pro-Israel and also doing like anti-woke. What an untapped market void that is. Of course, advisor to vote Tim Scott, Nathan Brand says, Barry Weiss identifies untapped market void, which is not untapped or a void in the market at all. It's the only thing the market has. Raises funds for a startup to fill it amid ridicule from her peers, from billionaires who want this kind of propaganda to continue. Okay. Successfully fills void, sells company to established player for hundreds of millions of dollars. Taylor Lorenz, this is a right-wing grift. It is. It is a right-wing grift. Sagar says the free press getting bought has nothing to do with markets and everything to do with being slavishly devoted to Israel. Free press heads, it's not about Israel. David Ellison, it is literally about Israel. I mean, here, they straight up say it too. It's not like they're hiding it. Look, on one level, David's pursuit, David Ellison, son of Oracle centi-billionaire Larry Ellison, David Ellison, the fucking nepotist fail son, and his pursuit of the free press feels like a passion play, a chance to virtue signal to his fellow media executives and Trump and talk CBS News towards something less overtly liberal. Jeff Bezos, for his part, seems to be attempting something similar at the Washington Post. though you really need a magnifying glass and Morse code to deduce any sort of strategy there. Anyway, like many in that crowd, Ellison was also smitten by Barry's unwavering support of Israel and preoccupation with the rise of anti-Semitism, issues that are as near and dear to David's father, Larry, as they are to Paramount's outgoing owner, Shari Redstone. It's not even like it's not a secret. This is not, you're not unearthing some sort of secret. They are straight up saying it. Okay? Ugh. Insane. All right. HHS. Now, in a sea of awfulness, let's move on to where is it? In a sea of awfulness, let's move on to fucking the state of Florida, okay? Florida to remove all vaccine mandates in the state.
Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. set to face lawmakers for the first time since CDC Director Susan Mernarez's firing after she refused to go along with his changes to COVID vaccine policy. With the CDC in turmoil, there's new fallout this morning after Florida's move to end vaccine mandates, including those for school children.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them.
Florida Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo has long been criticized by health experts for spreading vaccine misinformation.
Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? Your body is a gift from God.
The move would make the Sunshine State the first to no longer mandate certain vaccines for children in public schools, currently required to be vaccinated against serious diseases like polio, measles, chickenpox, and tetanus. The American Medical Association condemning the move, saying in a statement, this unprecedented rollback would undermine decades of public health progress. While there is still time, we urge Florida to
This is one of those things where like obviously a lot of the anti-vaxxer stuff is supposed to be used as a distraction, right? Like it's supposed to be culture warriors. It's supposed to keep people busy so that they just realize that, you know, the cost of living and affordability crisis is still ongoing. But you're too busy to recognize that Trump is not doing shit about that. Okay? But the problem with this is like when you actually lean into it, when you actually lean into making decisions about culture war stuff, you are unironically cooking your own future. Like, what good is it if a shit ton of next generation Floridians just have childhood polio and numerous other diseases that have been eradicated as a consequence of vaccine mandates? It doesn't make sense. This is the problem with moving in the direction of having like true believers rather than simple grifters that are going to agitate in the direction of this kind of stuff, but never actually fulfill the desires of some of the most insane people in the base. Another example I can present to you is white nativist anti-immigrant agendas, right? Like if Donald Trump were to do the Guatemalan Mexican Holocaust in this country with like 12 million brown people being shipped away into concentration camps, many of which work in the agricultural business, the poultry business, many of them work in the construction business, like it would not only be unimaginably cruel, but it would also destroy the American economy. Okay? Obviously, first and foremost, that is like an insane thing to do. That is an incredibly, incredibly cruel thing to do. But it would also be a self-own. It would be an own goal. You would be killing the economy. Right? This feels like that. This feels like a move in the direction of actively cooking your own future. It doesn't make any sense.
Consider this change to help prevent a rise of infectious disease outbreaks that put health and lives at risk. Measles cases have already risen nationwide to their highest level in 25 years, and the decision has medical experts ringing the alarm.
In the 1970s, there were school vaccine mandates across the country, but they weren't enforced. And then you had these major outbreaks of tens of thousands of people, children who had measles. And with those enforcement of school vaccine mandates, you ended those outbreaks.
Now, as the nation's top health agencies face a crisis of confidence, California, Oregon, and Washington are joining together to launch a new West Coast Health Alliance, quote, to ensure residents remain protected by science, not politics. Multiple reports saying Kennedy has chosen 7 new members to join the agency's panel of vaccine experts, and at least 3 of those reported new members have been critical of vaccines. HHS telling ABC News, you will hear it from us when there are new members to announce.
These changes were absolute.
And while all this is happening, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy is defending the shakeup at the CDC in a Senate hearing and saying that it was absolutely a necessity. As you guys may or may not be aware of course, the former head of the CDC was fired, and then a bunch of people actually left, resigned in protest. And now you got a bunch of senators asking questions about, like, what the hell is going on? Meanwhile, the person that they're putting in charge is a psychopath, is another Peter Thiel acolyte.
Necessary adjustments to restore the agency to its role as the world's gold standard public health agency with the central mission of protecting Americans from infectious disease. CDC failed that responsibility miserably during COVID, when its disastrous and nonsensical policies destroyed small businesses, violated civil liberties, closed our schools, caused generational damage in doing so, massed infants with no science, and heightened economic inequality. And yet all those oppressive and unscientific interventions failed to do anything about the disease itself. America is home to 4.2% of the world's population, yet we had nearly 20% of the COVID deaths. We literally did worse than any country in the world. And the people at CDC who oversaw that process, who put masks on our children, who closed our schools, are the people who will be leaving. And that's why we need bold, competent, and creative new leadership at CDC. People able and willing to chart a new course. As my father once said, progress is a nice word, but change is its motivator, and change has its enemies. That's why we need new blood at CDC. That's also why it's imperative.
Dude. I mean, this is like Hideo Kojima levels of disease, man. Okay. This is like a Hideo Kojima boss, okay, in the Metal Gear series called Disease Man, being like, that's right, I'm one of the 4 horsemen. I'm here to bring about disease. It'll be your salvation. Millions must die. Children must get polio. It will only make them stronger. And people are just looking at this and going, no, that's my guy, dude. It's crazy. Like, he is seen as like a popular person. He is seen as a popular figure in this administration. How nutty. What the fuck is bro talking about? Like quarantining and mass didn't mitigate infection rates and deaths? Yeah, it's over. Like the COVID stuff, like the COVID stuff totally bricked people. It totally bricked people. There are so many people that just like straight up think it's like both fake, but it was also a bioweapon, and the vaccines were worse, and the mask mandates were completely ridiculous because it was fake, even though it killed people because it was a bioweapon. Like it is so inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense, but it does not matter. There are people who just are, their brains are completely busted. One of the greatest examples I ever saw was like people rehashing like the MLK was a womanizer and wanted to like fuck white ladies. Like I saw young black teenagers on TikTok posting about how MLK wasn't shit because he wanted to just like do it for white pussy or some shit. And I was like, that's insane. That is literally what the FBI was trying to blackmail MLK on. And this is supposedly like a leftist person behaving like fucking a federal agent. Like, what the hell is going on? That's what I mean. And for people's inability to understand exactly what I'm talking about here, you can continue being annoying. It's just you're unproductive and you're genuinely causing harm. And one day you will look around and realize that you are alone for this reason. Maybe it'll be far too late at that point. Hopefully you can stop being fucking annoying before it gets to that point, okay? That's it. Like, there are still motherfuckers who are like, Hassan is dying on the hill of calling things schizo. No, that's not the hill I'm dying on. The hill that I'm dying on is not even a hill. I'm trying not to die on the hill by saying you need to fucking let certain microaggressions wash over you if you want to behave in a broader community as a normal person. If you want outsiders to not look in here and go, wow, there's a bunch of sickos in here. What the fuck's going on? This shit sucks. I'm not even remotely invested in whatever the fuck this guy has to say because this community has fucked vibes. If you don't realize that that's what it comes across as to the average person, I don't know what to tell you. The only reason why I do this kind of pushback towards people who behave in this kind of thing only because that's the only way that they can do any sort of expression of politics is because it's really bad. It's really fucking bad. And you're not alone, and you're not, this is not the first time that I've had to address this. I've addressed this a billion times since the beginning of my fucking Twitch streaming career. Anyway. All right. You have to be normal. You have to be cool. Okay? Be normal and cool. It's huge. It goes a very long way. Okay? Being normal and being cool goes an insanely long way. And a lot of people just go, nah, fuck that. Okay? All right. Let's continue. You literally pulled me back from being an annoying reactionary radlib who thought she was an anarchist years ago. Thanks, man. Glad you were open-minded. All right. You aren't the only person in here saying, excuse me, doesn't make you not cool. What? I'd rather have annoying people doing things than cool people doing nothing. How about cool people doing things rather than annoying people doing nothing? Because what your advocacy revolves around is annoying people not only not doing nothing, but only doing things in the opposite direction. All right. David is purchasing the Free Press, the defiantly heterodox news and opinion media entity founded by Barry Weiss. As you know, David has been courting Barry for almost a year and formally pitched her on acquiring the company at then Allen & Co. conference in July. Those talks have progressed in recent days. And I am now told that the two sides have agreed in principle to a deal and lawyers are hard at work finalizing a format agreement. David's offer to the Free Press is expected to be well above the site's most recent $100 million valuation, but well below the $200 million figure that was recently floated in the Financial Times. That was an absurd ask. The Free Press does $15 million in annual subscription revenue, and Barry's politically charged content makes it hard to scale the advertising business. Plus, there's no tech stack. It's all on Substack. Either way, it will land Weiss a king's ransom. Just a little over 5 years after her dramatic departure from the Times. The deal is not done yet, of course, but as a source of knowledge of the negotiations told me this afternoon, it's on the 1 yard line. It's not Dan Rather's network anymore. As a part of the deal, I'm told David plans to give Barry a role at CBS News that would, among other things, task his fellow millennial with guiding the editorial direction of the division. Barry's avowedly pro-Israel and anti-woke worldview, not to mention her broadly shit-kicking anti-establishment disposition. That's so funny. There is no anti-establishment position. Being fucking quote-unquote fake anti-woke, except for Israel, is not. It is the establishment position. It is the establishment position. Has he doxed anyone today? Why is Twitch doing nothing? One day you guys will realize that you're just getting tuned by some of the dumbest motherfuckers on the internet, okay? FEC filings are not doxing, dumbass. That is the reason why Twitch has done nothing, okay? It blows my fucking mind that you guys keep thinking like, well, I don't understand. My favorite content creator told me that this was actually patently illegal, and then the thing that you're looking at is not illegal at all, or not even a violation of the terms of service, and you just get upset. You just get upset that it doesn't happen, and instead of recognizing that you are an easily tricked adult and maybe going back and being like, hey, I feel like you actually lied to me about this, to whoever told you this shit, whoever tuned you up, you turn around and you say, nah, it must be a grand conspiracy. Some people are talking about you going to jail soon. I know, every fucking day, bro. It's so dumb. What happened? People were saying that like I was going to go to jail for for waving an airsoft gun against a person who issued a death threat against me, and I said, hey man, good luck. That's all I did. So what happened then? Why didn't I go to jail? Every other month, motherfuckers do a China is collapsing any day now type content for someone. At some point, you got to realize like maybe the people are not actually invested in educating you, and they're just simply farming you by whipping you up and trying to get you angry and agitated. Hopefully. What have you been having, the FEC? I watched a YouTube video where, ironically enough, I actually was critical of Bad Empanada's coverage, saying that the Progressive Victory doesn't just do pro-Israel propaganda and did like viable activations as well. But the reason why I didn't work with them was because I thought they were unserious for working with Brianna Wu and also numerous sex pestiny affiliates. And people took whatever they got out of that and said that I was like doxing people. Why was I doxing people? Because the public FEC declarations have content creators like areas that they're from. It's like saying you dox Hassan by saying he is in West Hollywood. Like I'm doxing myself every morning when I say sunny Los Angeles, Cal. This is what you're doing.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will
We got to do it. We got to play it.
working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
I thought this was a joke. Nope, not a joke. If you don't like what you just saw right there, if you looked at what you just saw right there and you thought, well, this is a productive way to organize, I think this is great, then, you know, we're not going to see the world in the same way, okay? But if you looked at that situation and you thought, wow, that looks kind of cringe to the outsiders watching, you understand why every now and then I push back on people that do this kind of thing. You might have a valid concern, okay? But that valid concern might be utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. And people don't understand that. Okay? I mean, this is also the CIA Simple Sabotage Field Manual. As you guys know, this is how the CIA for years and years actively disrupted left organizing, revolutionary organizing. Give a lengthy and incomprehensible explanation when questioned. Report imaginary spies or danger to the Gestapo or police. Act stupid. He is as irritable and quarrelsome as possible without getting. Be as irritable and quarrelsome as possible without getting yourself in trouble. A second type of simple sabotage requires no destructive tools whatsoever and produces physical damage, if any, by highly indirect means. It is based on a universal opportunity to make faulty decisions, to adopt a non-cooperative attitude, and to induce others to follow suit. Making a faulty decision may be simply a matter of placing tools in one spot instead of another. A non-cooperative attitude may involve nothing more than creating an unpleasant situation among one's fellow workers, engaging in bickering, or displaying surliness and stupidity. Okay? Now, the thing is, that chatter was not the CIA, dude. Come on. No, that's not what I'm saying. And this is not a revolutionary organizing space either. You're failing to comprehend what I'm saying. They don't need to do this anymore because people do it to themselves. That's the point. Boycott all movies, entertainment, concerts, newspapers which are in any way connected with the Quisling authorities. Cry and sob hysterically at every occasion. Complain against ersatz materials. Misunderstand all sorts of regulation concerning such as matters as rationing, transportation, traffic regulations. What's wrong with you? My point isn't that everyone that's doing this is CIA. My point is we have become little CIA agents, okay? Because the only way for a lot of people to demonstrate how fucking moral they are or how leftist they are is by being fucking annoying. That is unironically something that a lot of people have internalized. Anytime someone goes, hey, is that guy actually with it? Is that guy actually with the cause? Or is he actually fake and phony and a rich socialist, for example? You have internalized the reactionary framing that declares that people that come from different backgrounds could not simply genuinely be invested in emancipation for all others, okay? That is an inherently reactionary position to hold. That is something that right-wingers say, but leftists do it to themselves with regular frequency because we have all become little agents, okay? We have a little cop inside of us. We have a little cop inside of our brains. We have a little CIA guy inside of our brains, always being like, you have to be annoying. You have to be annoying. The deal is on the 1 yard line, I am told. Isn't that crazy? David Ellison, who is, of course, the son of Larry Ellison, okay? The son of multi-billionaire and Oracle Corporation co-founder Larry Ellison, who was propped up by the CIA, okay? His son is a film producer and a multi-billionaire and himself, or, you know, billionaire himself, who is a media mogul, bought CBS from another fucking billionaire to specifically make it more pro-Israel openly. And in an effort to do so, they are pumping Barry Weiss's bullshit independent outlet, fake independent outlet that's propped up by other billionaires with a $200 million cash infusion so that she can basically control the editorial standards and ensure that they are more pro-Israel. And by that I mean, because American media is already incredibly pro-Israel, as you guys know, right? But the reason why this is incredibly damaging to public discourse is because when Barry Weiss takes over the keys for CBS, she's going to make CBS pump out insane genocide denial. Like more so than just like, you know, key omissions and you know, many other tricks that mainstream editors deploy when covering the issue of Israel, right? Like it's no longer going to be like, oh, we're defending Israel by, you know, writing whatever an Israeli envoy has declared that seemingly contextualizes yet another instance of like unlimited violence against Palestinian children. Now they're just going to say like, no, these children deserve to be fucking murdered. It was awesome. And actually they're not murdered at all. But if they were murdered, it's good that they were murdered because they deserved it because they're Hamas. Okay? Now, obviously, one of my issues with this stems from the fact that one singular fucking billionaire can just like decidedly change the trajectory of a whole ass media institution that has been around for decades. Like, think about how insane that is. We are at the mercy of billionaires. I fucking hate that. Barry Weiss's stream of genocide denial and incitement against Palestinians living in the tents has paid off. Equally racist pro-Israel Nepo child David Ellison is rewarding her with $150 million, give or take, for a Substack that even this sycophantic write-up acknowledges isn't worth a fraction of that. Dylan Byers, ever the morally incurious court stenographer, ponders if Ellison is just trying something unconventional to shake things up for some other such dopey nonsense. The market for the Gaza famine myth from the Free Press on this was, right at the time when people were recognizing that Israel was committed to doing a famine, by the way, and they literally wrote the Gaza famine myth. Like, it's just a Holocaust denial newspaper, okay? I need you to understand. The American public overall has a lot of unsavory taste, clearly, but I can assure buyers that Joe Six-Pack media consumer is not chomping at the bit for 60-minute segments on why nonstop images of maimed toddlers emanating from Gaza are actually not that big of a deal. A bunch of pro-Israel billionaire lunatics trying to directly do unlimited pro-Israel propaganda beyond what you have already seen from mainstream media. It is crazy to me. And they're not even hiding it. They're just saying it out loud. So if you don't personally think that this is like an incredibly damaging moment for an even more damaging moment for American press, for press freedom and press independence at a time when obviously we need an independent press more than ever before, this is going to make things even worse. Okay? And yeah, as Adam also correctly points out, like Dylan Byers is writing this as like a positive article. This is supposed to be like an article that is pro Barry Weiss, but even this article itself recognizes that this is, $200 million for Barry Weiss's operation. That's a little crazy. These guys don't care if they're just melting money, okay? They don't give a shit because they have unlimited funds. They don't even give a shit. They will do a $200 million payout. What does this do? This is to tell every other journalist who wants to start a media career, every other journalist who already has a media career, you will get the bag if you lie at the behest of Israel, no matter how insane your lies are, okay? No matter how psychotic your lies are, just erode your conscience, erode your moral compass, and we will pay you. We will throw the money faucet at you. Okay? That's what this is for. David Ellison has settled into control of Paramount. A new conventional wisdom seems to have coalesced around a guy who, by dint of his relative youth and centibillionaire father, might otherwise have been written off as a Nepo baby of hyperbolic proportions, because he is. David is smart, his friends and fellow executives will assure you. He gets the business, and most notably, he plays to win. Or as Mark Shapiro put it to me, he is an assassin when it comes to winning. But as John Malone, oh my God, this fucking glaze. Why are you leaving out a key detail? What's the key detail that I'm leaving out? They are straight up. They're straight up doing this openly because they want CBS to be more pro-Israel. And that's why they went to a genocide denial paper that is propped up by other billionaires and greatly inflated its value as a payout, as a massive popular payout, just so they can tell every other fucking reporter to look away or actively defend the state of Israel, regardless of what their morality tells them to do. What is this? When people say, when people say stuff like, well, people can see through this. Like, no, this is extremely inside baseball shit. People will not be able to see through this. There are a lot of normies. Your parents are not going to look at CBS's coverage that changes dramatically to be even more pro-Israel and go, this is a little weird. No, they're just going to take it at face value. And that is the smart ones, the ones that are not getting their notes from random Facebook posts. The smart liberal parents that still respect the mainstream institutions are now going to be tuning into CBS, not realizing that it's just like even more pro-Israel than it was before. Can you say what you actually mean instead of psychotic? It's not accurate and it's not fair to people with psychosis who aren't hurting anyone and doing Hasbara. Okay, take a week off. Oh my God. Please, I just, it's unbearable. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Please stop. Please, no more woke. It doesn't exist anywhere on the internet. People are literally fucking slinging the R word as they think it's like as they think it's a battle against woke. And there are still places on the internet, this one being one of them, where people actively try to be like, can you please sanitize your language? No, I'm not. I can't. Please stop harping on this like minor thing, okay? It's just, please, it's not a major fucking issue. And if you can't deal with it, then like, you know, sorry. It's crazy. I'm talking about like a fucking unlimited child genocide that's taking place and how billionaires in the United States of America are forcibly taking over media institutions in an effort to do more fucking genocide propaganda. And a chatter's like, the way you're covering this hurts my feelings. God damn. One question about a minor thing is entirely unreasonable. I don't know, man. Oh, God. No, it's derailing and it's silly and it's dumb and it has nothing to do with the main point of contention here. Okay, please. Please stop. Yeah, it's not even that person's own personal feelings either. It's just like there's a hypothetical person with psychosis out there that might get fucking upset, and it's true, they might. Okay, I use pejoratives, like we utilize pejoratives. I can't just, you know, there are certain slurs and certain pejoratives that I do not use, but I can't be as accommodating as you want me to be. I'm sorry. Okay. God damn. In many circumstances, you must ask yourself, like, is this actually a productive point of contention, or am I simply saying this because I want my voice to be heard? The quicker leftists in leftist communities realize that most of the emancipatory language that is being deployed in these sorts of circumstances are simply just a reflection of their own narcissistic desires to be heard and an effort to like feel a sense of control, the easier things will be for achieving any semblance of solidarity, doing any sort of organizing. Stop tone policing. It's just stupid. It's unproductive. It makes people really fucking... It makes people look at us from the outside and go, ugh, these guys are fucking insane. Ugh. You know? Or maybe you're wrong. Or maybe there's a reason why you've been in here for 16 months and also understand that this is one of the least ableist spaces that you can actually participate in while also learning about whatever the fuck's going on in the news. And there's a reason why it is this way. There's a reason why it's consistently grown. It's because I don't do the fucking annoying tone policing shit and I actively stamp that kind of dumb shit out. That's it. Maybe I know what the fuck I'm doing and you don't. I know it's hard. It's hard to come to that conclusion, especially when you're like, this is the most important thing that I've ever seen. Anna said the same thing about birthing persons, Lamau. Yes, that's also fucking stupid. Offering any sort of attention to that is stupid. That's it. I'm not going to make it my life's mission to be anti-woke. I'm just going to fucking keep moving on and keep pushing. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to do. And you guys are trying to pull me back into the conversation. We're moving on from it. Okay. I've never in my whole ass life ever met a trans person that's been like, you have to use birthing persons. It's so fucking stupid. Any sort of attention towards that kind of rage bait from the right is also engaging in that kind of anti-trans behavior. Okay. That's it. All right. In any case, David has inarguably moved fast and has taken the reins of his new media barony, a notable contrast from the deal's interminable close. In the span of a few weeks, he reached a $7.7 billion deal for UFC rights, lured the Duffer Brothers away from Netflix, struck a distribution agreement with Legendary Pictures, and this week greenlit a Call of Duty film after acquiring the rights from Activision. If you subscribe to my partner Matt's indispensable What I'm Hearing email, you saw these deals coming long before the ink hit the paper. Even before that, David effectively approved Stephen Colbert's cancellation of South Park's $1.5 billion renewal. Yes, he had a year to plan these moves thanks to Brendan Carr's meddling, but the pace of execution does indeed betray a killer instinct. Now David has made advances on yet another target, the acquisition of the free press. Oh, Hassan saying, maybe I know what I'm talking about and you don't, is Rich. Yeah, when it comes to fucking building a robust community of people from all different ideological backgrounds that are here with a singular focus, I do know this. This is the one thing I know about. And the proof is in the fucking pudding. Okay? The proof is in the fact that even a dumb fuck like yourself, who is very clearly, at least in certain respects, reactionary, are still in here because you can't fucking look away. And slowly but surely, even though you're probably hate watching right now, you get to hear a perspective that you were not privy to and maybe even change your mind on certain things. That's it. Okay? That's it. That's what I do. You feel me? You feel me? Not gonna lie, Najee, you sound like David Pac-Man. Take the L. Are you fragile? Very white right now. One day you will grow, my king. Okay. This is not white fragility, dumb fuck. Okay? It's not. You want to know why it's not? Because it has nothing to do with white fragility at all. And none of this is wrong either. It is poison for solidarity. I'm giving you an exact opinion. I'm giving you the reason why I don't fucking do this kind of discourse. You guys only want to do it, though. That's all you want to do. Notice how we haven't even been able to finish the article right now. And the only reason why we haven't been able to finish this article is because a bunch of fucking annoying losers only want to hear themselves speak. That's a lot of you guys' only opinion right now. Okay? Your only interest, your only investment in here is to have your voice be heard. And you are not shy about using woke emancipatory language in an effort to fulfill your narcissistic desires. That is what's going on. I'm getting baited, and it's not a one guy situation. It's a fucking multiple guy situation. It's a 100 guy situation at this point. So I'm using this as an opportunity to explain why. I do this, okay? Every now and then, it's important to offer a little bit of pushback on this kind of shit, okay? And the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm offering pushback here is because this kind of stuff, this kind of language, this kind of attitude, a hyper-focusing on the optics of something, tone policing, makes the left unapproachable. It makes the left unimaginably annoying to the average person. And it's also incredibly unproductive. This is your jank moment. This has literally been my principled stance for since I began doing this kind of coverage. Okay? Okay, you know what? Here, let's do it. This is what you all